think I like your nose.
The love doctor will see you now.
I think I'm in love with you.
What? What?
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 worst things to do on a first date. For this list, we're taking a look at the nasty habits you should avoid during a romantic night on the town. Assuming you want to get a second date, that is.
I'm Slowski Cooch! Klingon insult. You have no honor.
Number 10. Do not be late.
I'm late. Sorry.
A first date is kind of like a job interview. You want to establish upfront that you're a reliable applicant who can meet a deadline. By showing up late, your date will instantly get the impression that you're not dependable. If you're only a few minutes behind schedule, you can still turn things around and have an enchanted evening. If you're over an hour late though, you'd better have a damn good excuse.
I'm really sorry I'm gonna be 1 minute late, because we're testing the professor's dumb time machine.
It's beyond humiliating when somebody winds up sitting at a restaurant alone, periodically checking his or her watch, filling up on bread, and drinking an entire bottle of wine in self-pity.
I thought you meant the other Italian restaurant I asked you to marry me in.
To avoid such a catastrophe, leave your house early and be sure to take traffic and parking into consideration.
Guess I got stood up.
Number 9. Do not be rude to the waiter or waitress.
Oh, nice job, hotshot.
I'm sorry.
Save it. Go tell the manager he owes us an appetizer.
Granted, if your waiter or waitress is unapologetically incompetent, nobody will blame you for filing a civilized complaint with the manager. However, being rude to the waitstaff for no apparent reason is a red flag for your date.
Hey, this table's a little wobbly. You want to yell at the waiter and make a scene?
Everyone wants a significant other who's patient and considerate. If you're an impolite customer that's constantly barking orders and criticizing the service, chances are you're not going to be the best spouse either.
Creamer.
Absolutely. Anything else?
No.
Even if your server is a little slow or makes a mistake, you shouldn't have a complete meltdown. Treat others as you would want them to treat you.
I would be too if we could get some service round here. Yeah, you, Hucknall.
Number 8. Do not complain about the bill.
You didn't do the check dance.
Leaving your server a piss-poor tip is one thing. Throwing a hissy fit over the check is quite another. If you refuse to pay the bill, it probably means you're a penny-pinching cheapskate, or you're just not very good with money. Either way, you're not going to come off as very generous.
Jessica's a Rhodes Scholar. She's traveled all over the world, speaks 4 languages, is a concert pianist. And Claire reached for the check.
It'll be especially embarrassing if the restaurant rejects your credit card and your date needs to pay for the whole meal. Oh, don't even think about sneaking out of the bathroom window to avoid payment. Pick a restaurant in your price range and have plenty of extra cash on hand in case your date wants appetizers or dessert.
I'm just gonna get everything on a dessert menu. I'm gonna order like 6 desserts.
Number 7. Do not spend the whole date on your phone. While courting a potential mate, you need to give him or her your undivided attention. So turning off your phone or at least putting it on vibrate is fundamental. Texting your friends and checking Facebook indicates that you have no interest in the person across the table from you.
Maya? Yep. We're socializing. Be social.
Unless somebody might be dying on the other line, accepting a phone call in the middle of a date is particularly insulting.
Oh, God. I'll be right there. Kevin, I'm so sorry. I have to go. My friend's been stabbed with a sword.
It just shows that there's no room in your life for a romantic partner. Ah, well, at least you can go home with Siri.
Theodore, how long before you're ready to date?
What do you mean?
I saw in your emails that you'd gone through a breakup recently.
Well, you're kind of nosy.
Number 6. Do not neglect your appearance.
Hey, how do I look? Just grow a mustache and lure a child into your van.
You can't always judge a book by its cover, but a person's appearance can say a lot about his or her personality.
Just sit the back down. I showered, I showed up, I'm starving, and I could use a drink.
For example, if you show up on a date wearing the cleanest clothes from the foot of your bed, reeking of cigarettes and the gym, then it's obvious that you don't have much self-respect or respect for others.
You're gonna do this because it shows that you're considerate, that you're clean, that you're American. Why do you even care?
When somebody puts no effort into his or her appearance, it often means that he or she is not going to put any effort into the relationship.
Fries?
Oh, good God, woman, you're a disgrace.
No fries for this guy.
Even after you shower, deodorize, and put on your Sunday best, don't let your guard down during the date. Chewing with your mouth open can be the ultimate deal breaker.
Do I have anything in my teeth?
Number 5. Do not talk about sex.
Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me.
It's always uncomfortable when two people have different expectations for sex, especially on the first date. One person may assume that getting laid is a foregone conclusion.
I hope you're ready for some hardcore battleship. Come on, boys.
Hardcore. That's the only way I play.
Meanwhile, the other may need more time before he or she is ready to make an intimate connection.
I'm thinking to avoid any sexual obligation. That's you.
In case you're not on the same page, don't be too direct about the elephant in the room.
When I'm not eating hummus and ferociously masturbating, I dabble in light porn.
Remember, once it's out in the open, there's no going back. Just try to have a good time and let whatever happens, happen. Who knows? If you let nature take its course, the night might end with breakfast.
I can actually hear the sound of her vagina being boarded up.
Number 4, do not flirt with other people.
And sometimes you just lose focus.
The first date is all about laying the groundwork, assuming you want a long-term relationship. However, it's impossible to build a strong foundation if you have eyes for someone else.
Can I have the room key, please? I need it.
If you drool at the sight of another person's date or linger too long at the waiter serving the table next to you, you might as well tell your date that you're settling for them. Flirting on a date usually means that a person simply isn't mature enough to make a serious commitment. It's tasteless, it's inconsiderate, and it's bound to end in drama. In short, don't be a tease.
And that almost always leads to a hit.
Number 3, do not get drunk.
He's really changed now. He's a really good guy now.
On the night of your big date, it's perfectly normal to have a few butterflies in your stomach. However, getting drunk to take the edge off isn't an ideal solution.
I order another round.
While there's nothing wrong with ordering a couple of drinks, it's best to cut yourself off before you start to black out.
I mean, it's a cat, you know? It's a cat.
The last thing you want is to drown your date in a face full of vomit. On a side note, you shouldn't feel compelled to exceed your drinking limit just because your date is hammered.
Send that shit back. Bring us 2 Macallan 25s neat.
Both of you could wake up the next morning with a hangover and enough regret to last a lifetime. Number 2, do not talk about exes.
I got left at the altar a month ago.
A first date means a clean slate and a brand new chance to find love. Alas, it's hard to start fresh when you're stuck in the past. Prattling on about your previous failed relationships is a surefire way to turn your current date off.
I remember when I met Jill, there was an economics class. I was walking across the quad.
It's a clear sign that you're either not over your ex or you're simply incapable of letting things go.
If we're gonna date, you may have to defeat my 7 evil exes.
If your date wanted to hear someone endlessly babble about heartache and how awful his or her previous partners were, he or she would have stayed with his or her ex.
Oh, shit.
What?
My ex.
Unless defeating your 7 evil exes is part of the package, just focus on the date at hand.
How's he doing?
Not awesome.
So there I was, Jill with Bryce, me on a train home. I guess she thought he was more exciting.
Before we get to our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions.
You were such a super lady. And then I've been so lonely.
All right. I'm John O. I read your profile twice.
Max, I should have called you sooner, but
You're canceling.
I know it's totally last minute.
I'm heartbroken.
I just completely forgot about our date.
Number 1, do not talk about marriage or babies.
I want a baby now. I'm 37. It's too much for a first date, isn't it?
A lot of people are eager to get married and have kids, but that's not what the first date is all about.
We're gonna be so happy together. I love you.
I'm sorry?
I love you.
Aside from having fun, the first date is about getting to know the other person. You need to learn about his or her interests and what he or she wants out of life.
Jeff, do you think you'll marry Britta?
I'd like to see someone stop me.
I just peed a little.
If 2 people really hit it off, they just might start a family someday. If you immediately bring up marriage and babies, though, you'll skip over the essential early steps in building a relationship.
I've dated a lot of women approaching 30.
I'm not 30 for ages.
Happy birthday, Evie. That's what I'm gonna say about that one.
It's too much too fast, which will likely send your date running for the hills.
I'm just gonna go use...
Do you agree with our list? What do you think is the worst thing to do on a first date?
Sort of looks like a Smurf penis.
Son, a piece of advice. When you go on a first date, you really don't want to say Smurf penis.
For more entertaining top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to MsMojo.
And that, my friend, is what they call closure.